מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחות גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת כולם ביחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת כולם ביחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחות גם יחד. הנה שבת כולם ביחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת כולם ביחד. Good morning. That Hebrew song is all about the goodness of being together. It means how good it is for brothers and sisters, for all of us to sit together. Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi Emma Gottlieb, and good morning to all of you. How wonderful it is to welcome you to this, our 6th day of 7 days of rest and sacred renewal, which is part of a global initiative in healing, of thriving, of earth, and of all living beings. It's such a pleasure to be part of this. My name is Reverend Barry Burr. I am the chairperson of Cape Town Interfaith Initiative and also a proud member of the Cape Flats Interfaith Declaration. I'm really thrilled to welcome today Rabbi Emma Gottlieb, who is from Toronto, Canada. So she is the newest of the rabbinic team in Cape Town at Temple Israel. Having moved here in late 2018, I believe. Rabbi Emma received ordination from Hebrew Union College at the New York campus in 2010, and it has been particularly meaningful to Rabbi Emma to be one of the first women rabbis in South Africa to present a different perspective on what a rabbi is, does, and looks like. Very warm welcome to you, Emma. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you've introduced us with that beautiful Hebrew prayer, and in the context of today's conversation, the theme for the day, for the 6th day of rest and sacred renewal, is valuing. And just to start off our conversation, I'm wondering, in the Jewish context, what does that mean, and what are we intentionally valuing today as we look forward into 2022?
Yeah. So Judaism is definitely a very values-based religion. So it's almost an impossible question to answer because values are really woven into just about everything that we do. But there are sort of 3 main ways in which we connect with our Jewish values. And the first is through study. So we learn what our values are, what Judaism values, by studying our sacred texts and by studying the wisdom of our tradition. And then we connect with our values through action. So, putting our values into action, living our values. And sometimes that's through Jewish ritual, sometimes it's through the work of tikkun olam, which is repair of the world. So anything connected to social justice or social action, taking care of one another. Um, uh, and it can also be in our individual lives, in implementing our values in our relationships with our families and our friends and our loved ones and our community members. Learning our actions and then, or learning our values and then implementing our values. And then the third piece, and the piece that I want to sort of set as our value for the day, is kavanah, which is intention. So having intention around our values, that they are not just something that we talk about, but that we really set the intention in our in the moments of our lives to do that second half of it, the living of our values. But that's active and intentional. It doesn't just happen because we say, "Oh, I value respect." You have to actually think about, what does it mean to be respectful? How do we show respect to another person? How do we implement that in every relationship in our lives? So that intention, and I think at the beginning of the year especially, we're putting so much intention into the way that we want to live in the year to come. So I think that for me today is sort of the value of intention and intentionality.
Thank you. I love that, because actually one of the things I was going to ask you was, are values something that just happened by accident, or how intentional are they? And you've just answered that. So it's a really intentional, it's a conversation. So what I'm understanding from you is that it's a continual conversation within the context of your religion, of your belief system, that that really embodies who you are and how you live and express yourselves in the world.
Absolutely, and it's almost a multi-layered conversation, because we're in dialogue with our sacred texts, we're in dialogue with one another, we're in dialogue with ourselves, and of course we're also in dialogue with God, or whatever we understand our higher power to be. And so it's sort of happening on lots of different levels as well.
Yeah, and it's also, I think, something that is not just something that happens in the synagogue. It's something that you really take with you, that you carry your identity with you wherever you go, and you really express your identity very intentionally wherever
Yeah,
you go. I think that's something that that is to be admired. And it provides a context for your entire life, um, and how you and your footprint. I think that's the right word, your footprint in your life.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so that's actually great. And that leads me to my next question. So I know that especially in Cape Town, but also in the whole world at the moment, um, Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu's passing is still very much on our minds. We are still in a process of expressing our grief. And one of the things about him, and one of the amazing lessons that he taught us, was his unique way of speaking truth clearly, but also loving his enemies. And I know that there is so much in the world that we cannot agree with, because there are about how many billions of people in the world? Well, there are that many billions of perspectives and processes going on. So, how does Judaism teach you or help you to value it all, the good and the bad, the easy and the hard? Um, yeah, how do you hold all of that from a Jewish perspective? It's a big
yeah.
question.
Sort of the
Mm,
million dollar question, right? How do we navigate life in that way?
yeah,
I think for for Jewish from the perspective of Jewish tradition, also sort of a few different ways into it, but certainly part of it is that our Jewish texts don't promote a perfect world or a perfect life. Not that we're not supposed to strive for betterment. We absolutely are.
mm,
But we're not given perfect models. So all of our ancestors in the Torah, all of our prophets, are flawed human individuals who make mistakes and who struggle and who suffer and who grieve and who have to find their way, even though they are in deep relationship with God and are, the people that we consider to be righteous and examples. There's not a model of perfection in our sacred texts in terms of what it means to be human. There's just a model for how to grow, how to learn, and how to strive to be better. But it's an attainable bar. It's something we can feel hopeful, about. So I think that's a really important piece of it. And then Judaism provides us with beautiful rituals to navigate both the beautiful moments of life, but also the really hard moments of life. So, we have a really beautiful process in place to facilitate grief. We have a lot of rituals around memory and how we preserve memory and how we tell our stories and how we make meaning out of the moments of our lives. And in that way, Judaism says to us, life is a balance. It's not just good moments; it's hard moments, and we have ways of Jewishly navigating both of those things. And then the last piece is community. That Judaism really places community and relationship at the center. And when we are in relationship with community, when we have people that we can depend on in our lives, and when we are in relationship with our spiritual selves and with God, then we also have the strength and the resources to get through the hard times.
I'm loving all of that, but the thing that really particularly strikes me and strikes a chord in my heart about the Jewish religion is that whole aspect of grappling with God. There's this continual, as you said, conversation, grappling. Why, God? Why? How, explain this. What happened here? Why are you doing that? What do you want me to do next? And all of your history, your prophets, your ancestors, as you have said, they have that absolute ability to go to the coalface with
Yeah.
with God and to sit in the fire, literally sit in the fire.
Yeah, definitely. We're not a people who blindly accept suffering. We are people who suffer, but we don't blindly accept it. And Abraham debates with God. He's not afraid to say to God, "Is this okay?" Right, when he's debating and trying to save the lives of the people of Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And we have Job, right, who really cries out and is angry with God in his suffering. So we are given the permission to question and to be in that hard dialogue with God, to say to God and to one another, why is this happening? How do we understand injustice and pain in the world? And how do we learn to live with it, but also how do we make sure that we are doing what we can in this world to mitigate it and to help one another through it.
That's really valuable, that ability to actually express anger, for instance, with
Absolutely.
God and with all of life. And we all know that anger is a part of life and part of the human experience. But to have permission to express it and be taught how to express it, that is a truly valuable part of your religion too, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as we're talking, we're naming sort of, without doing it specifically, all these different values that are woven into the tradition. So there is value to anger, especially if you're navigating it in healthy ways. There's value, definitely the value of questioning is a big part of Judaism. The value of community, the value of study and ritual. So all of these are our values that we're naming as we're talking about
Yes,
this.
and that value of ritual is a particularly rich one, every pun intended, of course. But so we're at the moment, we are now moving into 2022. It's the start of a new year. But of course, Judaism has already moved into a new year during Rosh Hashanah. I think that was in September. Um,
Yes.
so this time, this secular time of the new year, how is
Mhm.
that for you? How does it weigh up against Rosh Hashanah, for instance?
Absolutely. Yeah, well, so traditionally, the secular New Year isn't a Jewish day or a Jewish moment. We do celebrate our New Year on the lunar calendar. So we had our New Year back in September on Rosh Hashanah, as you said. And that entry into the new year is full of ritual. It's very structured and sort of guided through ritual and liturgy and community together. And also, especially in contemporary Judaism and in the progressive movements of Judaism, we're really aware that we are people who live with one foot in different worlds. So we are living in the secular world as well. And we are impacted by the calendar and the cycle of the secular year. And so, even though there aren't specific Jewish rituals attached to the secular New Year, we know that it's a time where people are thinking about setting intentions, are thinking about letting go of things and what do you want to leave behind and what do you want to take with you and that kind of stuff, and that we're impacted by that environment and that conversation that's sort of going on in the secular world. So we acknowledge it over the Sabbath of the new year. We talked about it in our worship services. We sort of brought it in as a theme, sort of informally. So it doesn't have traditional Jewish rituals attached, but we certainly are mindful of it and in conversation with it, and sort of saying to one another, how can we mark this with Jewish intention, even though it's not a specifically Jewish moment.
You're lucky you get to have two opportunities to do that in the year.
Yeah.
So I I think that one of the things we did not mention when I introduced you, Emma, is that you have a an amazing qualification in music as well as being an ordained rabbi. And I know that you have a treat in store for us today. You said to us that you're going to play something more for us, apart from the prayer that you started with. And I'm really looking forward to that. Would you like to tell us about the traveler's prayer that you're going to play, or would you like me to mention what you've told me?
Sure, you can start, and then if I have anything to add, I'll.
Okay, so Rabbi Emma is going to play for us the Traveler's Prayer, which was written by a Jewish songwriter named Debbie Friedman, who was prolific and renowned for her contemporary liturgical music from the 1970s right into the 2000s. And she also was Emma's teacher. So I'm really looking forward to this absolute treat. I'm going to put my camera off so that people can watch you, Emma, and thank you. The stage is yours.
Thank you. In Hebrew, this is called Tefillat Haderech. It means the traveler's prayer, and I bring it in the spirit of the value of intention, helping us to set intentions as we travel through this period of endings and beginnings. I continue to walk the path of life. May we be guided.
Oh dear, well, we do seem to have lost Rabbi Emma at this point, and hopefully we'll be able to get her back very quickly. Let's just give her a moment to get back to us. But in the meantime, isn't it just wonderful how we are able to share with each other and express these different traditions and values as we move into our 7 days of rest and sacred renewal? So I'd like to just tell you while we wait for Emma to get back to us that I'm an interfaith interspiritual minister, which means that I belong to everybody. And it means that although I'm not a Christian minister, I truly value the beauty and the wisdoms that come through in the Christian tradition, as I value the beauty and the wisdoms that come through in the Jewish tradition, the Islamic tradition, and every other tradition that we can think of. And I learn more every single day about these wonderful traditions, which is why I really love chatting with various ministers, rabbis, imams, practitioners of various belief systems. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get Emma back before our time is up. So perhaps it would be a good idea to simply, she's coming back. Here she is. Okay, so I'll save my idea for another day. In the meantime, as we're getting her back into the room, I'll just let you know that tomorrow we'll be speaking to Imam Saleh Isaacs from Mannenberg, and we're looking forward to that as well. Welcome back, Rabbi Emma. We lost you for a few moments there, but it's wonderful to have you back. And you're muted.
There you go. I'm back
There
on
you
my
go.
phone, so hopefully this will stay connected. Do you want me to pick
Wonderful.
up where I was?
I would
Or are we
like you
out
to
of
do that.
time?
Thanks. No, we're not
Okay.
quite out of time yet. We have another 6 minutes. So
Okay.
perhaps what you'd like, this is a beautiful way to end our show today, or our conversation today. So if you'd like to play this piece again and for us so that we can hear it from the beginning. And then when you've finished, if you'd like to maybe just share your deepest heart's desire as we go into 2022. And then I'll close us off. Okay? Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. And apologies again. May we be blessed as we go on our way. May we be guided in peace. May we be blessed with health and joy. May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. May we be sheltered by the wings of peace. May we be kept in safety and in love. May grace and compassion find their way to every soul. May May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. And yeah, my deepest wish for 2022 is for all of us to find peace, to find health, to find safety, and to navigate the difficult times together, placing our values at the center and one another at the center. Amen.
Amen. Rabbi Emma Gottlieb, how absolutely beautiful. And thank you for sharing that exquisite traveler's song with us. And yes, we really do walk arm in arm and we walk with each other. We have this one planet to share, and we must do that together or all perish together. So how beautiful that we are able to share this time and make friends with one another, that we learn to understand each other better. How very beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your time, your wisdom, and your wonderful talent with us. I hope that it won't be too long before we have the opportunity to do that again. And to all of you who've been listening and watching today, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. In South Africa, it's pretty early. It's just about 7:30. But in the rest of the world, we are crossing so many time zones. And wherever you are in the world, I wish you a beautiful day, a beautiful morning, a beautiful evening, whatever it is that is most appropriate for you at this time. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow with Imam Salih Isaacs from Mannenberg, and he's going to be sharing some of his Islamic wisdoms with us tomorrow as well. So thank you, blessings, and peace. Shalom.
Shalom.